Welcome, Divine. Welcome. Look, I forgot to bring you guys in. I was looking at this reading. I was like, oh, what's going on here? And I was like, let me get a clarifier because I want to make sure what I was getting with everything. And I said, well, wait, let me bring you guys in. Yeah. So, yep. So I just wanted to do a clarifier on this karmic reading because this is what you guys are clearing out. This is kind of that yes for the divine feminine and divine masculine. It's why you're divine. To really end the karmic cycles that we have going on earth, that you're shedding light to new ways of living and new ways of being. So it is commendable when you are tackling karmic situations in your life, because when you sort out those karmic situations in your life, you sort those karmic situations out for the world. I mean, that's what the divine are here to do. They are the salt and the light of the world. What are they lighting up? The dark. Just like if you walked into the bedroom and flipped the switch. Except you're walking into the room and flipping the switch. But more so, you're walking into people's lives and flipping the switch. But it's in the realm of maintaining your light. And that's what you guys are recognizing. But throughout that process, you've had to really slay some karmic cycles for yourself. And in those karmic cycles always include karmic people, They always include karmic people. Yeah, we hit it. Because, they make the flavor of the karmic cycle, right? It doesn't make it less annoying, doesn't make it less overwhelming at times, but the difference between the divine life and the karmic cycle life is that it doesn't take you over. Karmic people who are stuck in those karmic cycles, which are kind of identified as just kind of really karmic type people, they don't affect the divine in the way that they're able to affect themselves and others who haven't awakened to it. So that's the superpower of being the divine, is that those who are stuck in those karmic cycles, the divine just goes right through and it's like, nah, I see through it. I see through it. Not for me, Yes, not for you. So you don't fall prey to those situations that lead you to a darker life. A darker life is a life, a lot of sadness, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, things of that sort, not getting your desires and your needs met, not having the dreams and the goals that you set out to have in this life, and kind of really learning how to accept that and kind of settling. The karmic cycle is a lot of kind of settling into whatever happened, whatever was produced in the situations of life. So we're going to go right on and we're going to read into this. We're going to go as far as we can go, and then you will be able to get the extended version of this right down below, which will also include the extended version of the divine feminine, the extended version of the divine masculine. It will also include spiritual psychic gifts that we have going on this week, which is talking about how deja vu and dreams and numbers, how they are all a part of the manifestation loop. They intro us into it all, into what? That spiritual divine world. So this is great. We're going to just get in and see what's happening. So when we start looking at this is looking at this from where the karmic world is. In comparison to the divine is what I'm getting. Simply because we have this dog that's just walking ahead, and you can see these two dogs back there just united, but this one is kind of walking away with head in the air like, enough with them. Well, enough of that. Enough of that. Yeah, look at the Lenormand when it comes to this initial card, it is kind of that this dog has recognized the disguise of the master. So it's like, okay, I see the truth of who you are. So I recognize the disguise of the master. And when you say recognize the disguise of the master, it's who is the master? What I get in this is the divine. Because in the back, you have the two dogs together and they are like in an equal position of lifted up. If you have the Lenormand cards, it'll be good to pull this one out and look at it. It is that 1-8, so it does go in with that 9, which was a particular number that showed up in our divine masculine reading when we went into the extended of that. So we know that the masculine energy is bringing this in. The masculine energy is bringing this in because I did say the masculine energy was handling a lot that we have going on in the physical right now. So not only is the masculine energy handling what we have going on in the physical, internally, it was discovered in that divine masculine reading that they are internally and spiritually embodying their divine feminine nature. So it's just so much going on out here. And it is all linked and tied together. And you guys are just right in with it. And it's cool to look at it like this because you get to see the things that you're going through aren't in vain. You're doing major things. Major things. So understand that your pain does lead to a gain depending on how you work this thing. So we have that going, starting in with that 9, and that is it, dog. It's like, okay, I recognize the disguise of the master. So I might not have seen it fully. This, the twins in the back, the divine feminine and divine masculine. I might not have understood or recognized it to be the master, the superior way, what works, them two together. I may not have recognized that before, but I get it now. So now I'm just walking off like, whatever. It's what we have going in here from this karmic way. So if you're dealing with karmics in your life, and that is third party, that could be mom, that could be someone you're in a relationship with, and there's another third party within it. There could be all kinds of stuff, cousins, friends, family, whatever. We talked about many of those things that you guys are calling to attention with a relationship, and those people are within that karmic cycle loop, many of them. So this is giving that look into that way, and a lot of them have recognized you have stood in your truth and you're standing in who you are. So what I'm getting is that many of the karmics within your life have said, okay, I get it. I see who's master. I see that you're connected to the divine, and I see that I really cannot play here. I can't play here, which is really good. And we know that that's truth because what do we get to come in to clarify that? We have 5, which is what? Change. And then what is this card when we start, and that's the Lenormand, but when we go and we look at the John Holland cards, what is this? Conflict and defeat. So this is what's happened. The karmics in your life are like, okay, I get it. I see who you are. I see your power because you have shined that power. You have stood in that power. You have been steady. And I see it. I see it. You're not taking crap. That's what I'm getting. You're not eating these illusions. I get it. You're a master. You're moving into what? Ascended master. I love that's coming out that way. Another way that we know is because what do we get? We get this card that flows up. In this card, I like to look at the numbers. So we have the winding road, and this is just one individual going up the lonely road at that point in time. And we call it a lonely road, but there is a destination there. It's lonely because it's singular. But when we look at the numbers here, we look at 2, 2. So this is 22. So that is very, very symbolic. So kind of balanced in a way of not only was that determined when it came to the karmic, but also those who are within these karmic cycles, they also recognize that this is how they get it. This is how it should be. This is how it's supposed to be. So they're really not putting up too much of the fight when it comes to you in the way that they were before. So you'll find when you stand in your truth that you're recognizing that those karmics around you are going, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And see, this is that love of a passing stranger, what comes, and this is that unevolving affair. When you look at the Lenormand, that is kind of how they note that. So that's that unevolving, which means that they know that, okay, there's no smoke here. There's no smoke here. I don't have power here. I see who's master here. This person is embodying who they are. So I don't have any power here. And we know with the clarifier coming into this, destiny. Definitely. And then we even have within that that heart space and that just the intuitive center. So they are recognizing that's divine. We start out here, and we also have the 10 of hearts up here on the initial card that we have with the 9 and with the dog. So that starts out with that 10, which also brings us in that ending and beginnings, and also that 10-10 that we had, the divine masculine. Why I'm saying 10-10 is because the clarifier in the very next motion is also 10 for destiny. So, and it's also, that's 10 of hearts, and then we lead into the destiny of this. But this is also letting you know that those karmics that you have experienced, that many of you are working and opening up their heart chakra, and that you are being the salt and the light for them. As frustrating as it may seem, once they recognize that you are master and that they can't affect you anymore because you are on the ascended master planetary motion. So what that means is that the things of the physical world that are very karmic and dark and grounded, they don't affect you because you ascend over it. You keep ascending over it. So they're recognizing, a lot's different about you, a lot's different about you. So in doing that and in going in that conflict and defeat, when I'm getting that many of these karmics that you guys have been dealing with, because you got to understand, the divine feminine and divine masculine are front line. They are front line with it. So, and the masculine energy has been working in that deep rooting. So you've been dealing with some people who get their way. They get their way. Like, this stuff has worked for everybody else. Whether this is within a company, a family, or an intimate relationship. These are your heavy, manipulative folk. And it has worked with everybody else. They have been able to get rid of everybody else, and they have been able to get everybody else to do what they want to do. And those things and ways about them to manipulate and get their way and get what they want has worked. So coming to you, it's like, holy crap. And it's like, who's that girl is what I'm getting this coming to mind. I know, right? So that's really good. That's really good. So it is creating this this awakening effect, which is amazing because you can tell where we are in the season. So in those endings and beginnings, as many of you have risen into the ascended path, that light up was in front of many. So these karmics that you've had in your life in various situations are looking at you like, because I know you how you were then, or I know how I have been interacting with other people in the world, and there is something different about you. Why didn't you fold? Why haven't you folded? Who are you? Again, who's that girl is what I'm getting. And the reason why we're getting girl, because this is also happening with the masculines, because masculines are heavily lighting up as well, and the karmics that are dealing with in their lives are like, check the dude out, check the dude out. What is what's coming through with that? Okay, so what's happening is that people are becoming in awe that their crap doesn't work with you, or that you see stuff, or that you know stuff, and that you're addressing stuff, and that you're standing in truth, and they're like, all this time I didn't know anybody knew, and that they really thought they were like powerful and masterful in their I'm getting ways and schemes of life. And then here you come, and the truth is they never really were. You always saw through this stuff. You just didn't know how to address it. You didn't know what to do physically. You didn't know what to say. You didn't know how to act. So what's happening is that light up not only rose you up, it has also shed light. And when you shed light, you have, this is where the destiny card comes in, because this is how the divine works it. This is how the divine keeps sparking us. So many of you are recognizing that the karmics within your life are your people that you were assigned to be the guiding light. And that's why you always hear the references of place before your enemies and things of that sort, because there's a specific purpose to that. And I think I even did a talking before that kind of linked that up, of that those who were down and they had to actually watch the rise of the ascended master Jesus Christ. And it's like, okay, so now everybody's like, oh, that's the way, that's the way, that's the way. And you can hear his name publicized all over. And it's like, yeah. And then they start seeing you guys walk around and doing the same thing. And it's like, oh my God, that's the way, that's the way, that's the way, you know? So that's how you are the salt and the light of the earth, which means that people feed you the dark and you transmute it, transform, and you show up light. And they're like, wait, I gave you dark. How the heck did you get light? Where you get that from? Where you get that from? That's not what I handed you. How'd you do that with what I gave you? And what I'm getting is that how'd you get heaven when I gave you hell? How'd you get heaven when I gave you hell? And it's like, yeah, that's what the divine does. So it's amazing. So you're getting admirers. You're getting admirers that were once really, really your foe. But it's the same thing. It's what you've learned in dealing with your counterparts, is that there can be admiration and a desire of closeness at the very same time that those are still sleeping souls in a way. They are awakening and they are lighting up, but we also know there is a process. This is a process in ascension, and the same things that you have went through, they go through it too. You are on the front lines of those within your life scope, so they will follow, which means that you use your divine intuition in dealing with everyone, which means that they will come at you a little bit differently as predicted, but you are mindful of what you're dealing with. And you know how to interact, connect, and be detached, because you were taught that by your divine feminine and your divine masculine relationship. And it's how we interact with the rest of the world. It is so interesting because we are getting ready to go into communication, because there's going to be some communication happening. And but we are at our time period. Remember that you can go down and you can get the extended of this, and everything else for this week is in there, the extendeds, and it's for you to have. It's for us to ascend, and we're doing it, and this is really good. You also have your discussion in there too. At first I was like, oh, what am I gonna do while they're doing all these YouTube updates? Which is good, because I think YouTube is going to turn out to be a very, nice place once they get it all together. But we know what transition and adjustment is. And it is all happening in our ending and beginning season, and the rebirth and union season. So I can see what work is being done on the channel, but it did lead into things that I recognize, which is that we can get in depth. We can get in depth. So it's really good for us to be able to have it. So I'll see you guys down below. The golden mission. The golden mission is union. Union within self and union with others. See you in a bit.